Hello, everyone. You're welcome to the fourth edition of the ChopitUp podcast. And today is a special day. I have with me, as usual, Antonio. And I have...
What's up, guys?
I have a travel consultant. He's a...
Expert to me.
An expert in traveling. He has companies that bring people from outside different countries, take them on tours, and he's an expert in traveling. A traveler himself, loves traveling, likes seeing new places. And Obinna, Obinna, you're welcome. And I have
Thank you for having me.
Another serial traveler, always in the air. Number one,
my personal boss,
the CEO of Budget My Trip. Sarah,
hi everyone.
Dangana.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, guys. I really appreciate your time and thank you for coming on this podcast. Today, our topic will be traveling, and as you know, you guys are traveling experts and people who are passionate about traveling. I would like to get your take on certain issues concerning traveling. And my first question goes to Obinna. What is your motivation behind traveling and bringing people?
Very good question.
Yeah, what's your motivation?
You know, I've really been curious about this, man. These two, they like traveling too much, so I really want to know why they like traveling so much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for putting that through. I like to look at travel as a way of life. Contrary to what many people think, that traveling is just leisure. Traveling actually opens doors to different kinds of integration. When you look at the way we are as people, we are different, the way we eat, the way we dress, the way we interact, and the way we even celebrate or mourn. So traveling gives you that aspect, or opens those doors where you kind of learn and appreciate another person's culture. And the more you understand, the better the whole environment or the whole interaction becomes, because most times we are being driven by the differences that are obvious. Oh, he's African, he's European, he's Asian. But when you begin to travel, you begin to learn how these people behave. And the next time you get an opportunity to meet that kind of person, you know how to respect the things that they value, and they also do the same thing to you. On the long run, it's a whole huge collaboration that happens, and there is more unity and there is peace. So that's what I look at travel as. Most people don't think about that, but for me, that's my main motivation.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Sarah, what's your motivation?
That's deep, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I think Obinna already summed it up. It's that quest for knowledge. Personally, the quest to understand how different people see things. So I travel in the beginning, I just used to travel for fun. Let me be honest. But then I realized that I was learning so much. I mean, my personality was being shaped from the different people and cultures, history that I was encountering. And then I was becoming more empathic. That's the word, right? You know, because you understand where people are coming from. When you find yourself also in the professional world, you're able to relate with different people on different levels, just because you have an idea of what it means to be maybe Asian or Hispanic or whatever. So aside just having fun and taking the nice pictures, it's also a way to learn. It's the best way to learn. The experience, the ideology of just understanding what drives these people helps me a lot. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Solid.
Antonio.
Solid. Yes, sir.
You travel sometimes. What do you think?
How do I travel? I mean, mine is plain and simple. I'm not as deep as them. When I travel, it's just to see things that I'm curious about, like, you know, go to France and see the Eiffel or something, you know. It just satisfy my curiosity. Nothing deep like that. But yeah, I think I'll learn a key from them, you know. I'll take a key from them. Makes sense what they say.
Cool.
You?
Cool. For me, I think traveling is like learning, you know. It's like going to school, going to a new country. It's like going to another school, you know, learning, seeing people. It's a way to see the world. You know, life is short, life is beautiful, and I feel that it's important for everyone to travel, to see the world beyond as they can. It's important for people to spread their wings, to learn, and when they have done all the traveling, they look back, they can close their eyes and smile and think about the wonderful memories they made, and wonderful people they met on the travels, and have a wonderful life. I think life with traveling is just beautiful. So people should travel. And another question.
This feels like I'm cheating myself, because everyone is traveling for the for all the good reasons. I'm traveling for all
able to see places is a thing, right? When you see the Eiffel Tower, you connect with France differently when you've seen these things.
Exactly. I have like a little bucket list I'm trying to cross one after the other. So
nice.
And Sarah, how many countries have you visited?
Okay, so a little
I can guess.
countries. I was going to say guess, but yeah, go.
Okay,
go
I'll
ahead.
guess. Let me guess.
I already said it.
How many? How many?
Say something. Guess.
Okay, I guess. Okay, I'll say 50 countries.
Not yet 50, but soon 50.
You have conquered almost all of Europe.
Exactly.
America, some part of Asia.
Not yet Asia. Actually, that's one place that I want to start next 2021. But yeah, so
I'll give like a 45.
I'm more than 40.
Wow.
45.
More than 40. So that's my.
Easy. That's crazy.
And Obinna, how many?
I know the most iconic thing I saw from you. I think you once posted something about. I think it was in Iceland or something.
Yeah.
Man, that was dope.
It was an experience.
That was hard.
Those are the kind of countries that you should at least go once in a lifetime.
And Obinna, how many countries have you visited?
That's a very difficult question to ask someone like me. I really don't know. I haven't made out time to calculate and write down a list. Maybe Sarah might have, but I haven't. I know I've been to at least 15 African countries, and I've traveled extensively across Europe. I would say not very far off, between maybe 45 and maybe 45, 55 within that.
Hard.
That's a lot. You guys are really.
How many countries have you been to, Prince?
Me. Oh, I don't know the count, but it should be.
You've been to more countries than you think, if you actually look at it.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was trying to count mine in my head and like, I've been to some African countries too,
You've been to more countries than you think.
I think maybe I'll be in the 30s, but
you see, you're not doing bad for a non-travel blogger.
I'll be probably less than 20. Right, probably less than 20. I'll be like 4 African countries and about 10 European countries. Yeah, that not so much. Not so much for me.
So much. And tell me. So I'll tell you one of my interesting travel stories, and you guys will tell me yours. I was in Budapest with my friends, and we had like a wonderful day.
Why do I know this story already?
I think I know.
No, go ahead. I'm joking.
And we had a party, like we walked around, blah blah blah. After seeing everything, and like 1 hour or 30 minutes before taking the bus home, we just met some young ladies on the street, and like they approached us and they were like, "Wow, where are you from?" Like, "From Ghana." Wow, you guys are so nice. Can we go for a drink? And my friends were like, "Oh, okay, let's go for a drink."
You fell for the bait, bro.
A beautiful white lady or two beautiful white ladies come to you. It doesn't happen often. And let's go for a drink. So we went with them. They took us to one bar. We went to the bar. As soon as we got there, they started playing Ghanaian music. The DJ started playing Ghanaian music. They play Ghanaian
Budapest.
They play Ghanaian music in Budapest. Wow. And the girl started shaking, moving. And they look at me and my friends holding, dancing, like, wow, before we go home, this is like the highlight, We walk around Budapest and in the evening thinking about everything, and wow, 2 girls come, dancing with them, and we ordered some drinks. And we ordered just like, I ordered water, my friend ordered like brandy, and the other one ordered brandy, just a little. And they ordered one beer, another beer. And the bill came. my God, almost more than $500.
What?
I look at the guy. Mr. Man, what did we drink?
Bro,
What did
they
we
charge you for the music, I guess.
And we're like, and you know, before we didn't check the price.
Menu.
Wow. And the guy showed us
$500 for
another
drinks.
one. And then I went to the ATM, withdrew all my money, and I paid this guy. And you know the funny thing, I withdrew all my money, paid this guy, and our bus left. I had no money. It was winter. We had to be in Budapest. We didn't have money.
Nah, bro.
See what we're going to do. We had to go to Brno, and it was cold, so we had a 24-hour ticket, and we ended up being in the bus. So we stay in the bus from one end to the other, to the last stop. So we stay, we sleep, and when we get to the last stop, we get down, we take the next bus. And we called our friend.
Oh my goodness.
Called our friend to buy us a ticket and he told us the next ticket is going to come the next day, 5 a.m. So till 5 a.m., we were just doing that to stay in the bus to the next stop, down to the next stop. So that's my interesting travel story.
Quite an interesting one.
I had better luck, if I can put it that way. I was traveling with one of the guys, and then Air France delayed the flight, so they had to put us in like a hotel, and then they gave us like this free accommodation, free city tour, like that kind of thing. And then immediately we got out of the hotel where I put in to go have dinner before 100 euro notes.
What?
On the
In
floor.
Europe?
Like,
oh my
crazy.
God.
Like, I was like, bro, are we taking this or not? He was like, are you kidding me? So then we picked up the money and like we used the money for like everything, like went through the whole France, did like the whole Paris. So like everything, paid for transportation, paid for food. And when we picked the taxi and go back to the hostel, to the hotel, the taxi cost was exactly the remainder of the money we had. So it was like 20 euro that we had after the whole trip. They thought it was 20 euro, so we just gave it to them like, okay, so like everything we did was paid for by the 100 euro notification.
The Lord was on your side, actually.
Tell me about it.
And Sarah, tell me what interesting travel.
I mean, I have so many crazy ones, but the one that remains in my mind is always how I got like bounced at the Croatian border when I was trying to visit with my friends.
That story.
So that's a crazy story because it was the least country that I expected to get like denied an entry into, but it was supposed to be a road trip, and I think I had my passport at the UK embassy, so I didn't travel with the passport. I just had like the residence permit card. But when we got to the Croatian border between Slovenia and Croatia, we were told that we actually need a passport to get into the country. And not just that, for not having your passport when you're at the border, you get fined 500 euros for moving without the passport. So it's like an offense that you're without your passport and you still cannot go in. And we had booked like everything, the Airbnb and everything. So at that point, we had no choice because the bus was supposed to cross the border. And so they just left us, me and my friend Yvette, at the border. And they told us, okay, ciao, good luck, guys. And they left us with the immigration police. So these guys were really mean. And it was winter. It was really cold. It was like, I don't know, maybe 5 a.m. or so in the morning. And they told us, okay, each person 500 and it has to be in cash.
Wow.
So you know how the border is usually like in the outskirts of the city. The border is not always in the city center. So we asked them, how can we find an ATM? They say you have to order a taxi. You call the taxi to come and pick you, take you to the closest gas station, and then you use the ATM and you come back to pay them. So at this point, they had our permits, our residence card. So they knew we couldn't run away because how would you get back to where you're coming from? So my other friend was so scared. She was fidgeting, like she's not a Niger girl. So she didn't have this Niger, mentality of anything can happen, don't be afraid. She's like, Yeah, she was already crying. I was like, why would you be crying? She said, these people can kill us. So she went on Twitter and was randomly checking. And indeed, on Twitter, people were saying the Croatian border is the worst in Europe. You know, they can just shoot you and throw you, blah, 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 blah. They've broken people's crushes there. You know, so many bad stories. So at that point, she now said she doesn't even have the money to pay. I'm like, okay, so what do? We give ourselves to these men, or what do we do? But eventually, we found a way to get to the ATM. We withdrew the money. We came back and we paid them the money, and they gave us back our payments and told us, okay, find your way back to Czech Republic. But we didn't know how to leave this place because we were just standing in front of the border and there was no way to get back to where we were coming from. So we started trying to make like auto stops, like begging people to help us. So each person you stop, when you try to explain that, sorry, I forgot my passport, or I'm not with my passport and I got bounced, immediately you start explaining that, they just say, okay, sorry, I can't help you. You don't have your passport, and they just drive off. So we had to wait like till the next day afternoon. They told us the next Flix bus was going to pass at like 4 p.m. or so. So we were just standing in the cold. Our phones were about to die. It was terrible. And then eventually there was a good Samaritan, that a guy that had lived in France, that helped us, because when he stopped, I kind of explained. So he took us to the closest village to catch a bus to Vienna. But this experience was so funny because after everything, when we got back home, we were settled. We contacted the embassy like to understand why would they insist that we pay with cash, because they told us we must pay with cash. And so we sent the receipt or some paper that they gave to us, like proofing the payment. We sent it to the embassy, and the embassy was like, that's not even Croatian language, that's Slovenian. Like, you guys were scammed. They just took this money from you because they had to like ask you for money and maybe you were afraid. So we realized that these immigration officers actually scammed us and didn't let us into the country, and it was a crazy experience. So yeah.
So bad. No, Obinna?
Sarah, so they gave back the money, right?
No.
Who will give you back your money? Something that has
them
no
didn't give you
trace.
back.
No.
No, they just told us to be more careful, that next time when you're making these transactions, maybe pay by card. Because when you pay by card, you know, it's linked to some
because I mean, it was very off.
But this was by cash, so it was a crazy one though. But we learned from that. I mean, the funny thing is, we negotiated. That's where we even thought that it was a scam, because we told them we didn't have 1,000 just to give to them. Because my friend said she didn't have 500. So I said, okay, can I pay my 500 on behalf of Ian Yvette? And they accepted. So that's really tricky, because if it was really an offense, they wouldn't accept to take 250 per person.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Obinna.
Now that Sarah has told that story, I'm just reflecting on what it looks like to cross that border. Actually, there are two. There are two stops there. So if you survive the Slovenian one, you probably wouldn't survive the one on the Croatian side. Because there is this area called No Man's Land in between those countries. So it's kind of flashing through my head right now. My crazy story, funny enough, actually is in my country, right? So as much as I have traveled, I haven't had super crazy stuff. Nothing close to what Sarah has experienced. I think it was probably around 2013. I was going to Paris. Then I used to do all these film festivals and stuff like that. So I was going for the Lille International Black Film Festival with my friend. We had booked an Emirates flight and all of that. But if you know Nigeria, the immigration and the experience at the airport is definitely something to write home about. So first it started by anything for the boys, anything there, this and that. And then we, kind of tried our best to be calm and collected, and we did everything that was necessary. By the time we got to the last lady, she stopped because I was traveling with my friend Bogsy. Bogsy is a music artist, so he keeps the dreadlocks and kind of looks like an artist, I would say. So from that point, the woman was like, no, you guys look like you're going to smuggle drugs. So I will have to check you guys thoroughly. And I said, ma, but we already passed like 3 other people and we can hear our names on the microphone. because the ladies from Emirates were already announcing, and we could hear them, like our voices, our names were all over the airport, because they were like, we know you've passed this part of the airport. Can you just get on the plane? And we told the woman, listen, that's our name. These guys are going to close. It was the last flight out of Nigeria. And we had to connect from DXB, Dubai, to Paris. And the lady was like, I don't care. I don't care what's going to happen to you. You're going to miss the flight. It's kind of crazy though. So we eventually ended up being searched more, and she was like, no, we're going to take you to special rooms and insert stuff in your ass and check and make sure you didn't have drugs, even when we had already emptied all the things we had on our carry-on. So at that point, I heard the last announcement as it came off the speaker, and I told Bugsy, listen, this lady's not going to stop me from achieving what I want to achieve this year. So I told him, listen, we're going to move. If she's going to run after us, she should. And if she's going to shoot, then she should go ahead and shoot. So at that point, we had our stuff in the, like, you know, the basket where you put your stuff, you're traveling, like the security stuff, because she brought one back. And we had to literally empty everything we had. My belt was off. I just had my pants, which I was holding on my hand. And luckily, I had a big T-shirt, right? So what I did was that I just took the bucket, I emptied everything into my T-shirt, like, you know how you fold your T-shirt inwards like this. And yeah, I just did that. And immediately Bugsy saw me doing it. He did the same. He just grabbed the bucket, turned everything into himself, grabbed the shirt, and we kind of built a loop with the shirt. And when we ran towards the plane.
Wow.
So
that was great.
Yeah. So you see two guys running towards the plane with their pants almost dropping off.
Are you crazy?
In the airport. One of the biggest airports in the world, Dubai.
Yeah. It was an A380, so it was like a super huge plane with two deckers, right? So as we ran towards the plane, the lady, one of the air hostess, was like, what's your name? And I said, my name is Obinna. My friend's name is Obinna as well. So she said, it's two Obinnas. I said, yes. She said, what happened? I said, just let us in. We will explain. At that point, we realized that the woman actually wasn't chasing us. She just stopped and she was laughing. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you're laughing?
You know, I had a similar experience, but I was brave as she was. So I ended up paying it was in South Africa. Immediately I landed, the immigration was like, where am I? I was talking with the travel agency in Ghana, right? So it was like a business trip sort of to go and explore like travel destinations for like our customers. So we had the whole booking, like itinerary, hotel reservation, everything. And I had it printed out because I knew they were going to bag me. As I get there, and then the woman, the immigration woman was like, where are you going to? This is the first time to come to South Africa. I'm like, yes. Where are you going to? I mentioned the name of the hotel. It's like, and in which city is that hotel? I was like, it's in Joburg. It's like, no, it's somewhere in Cape Town. You are lying. I'm like, no, I know it's in Joburg because like I have actually booked people for that hotel before. So like, no way, I'm going to take you back. Immediately she said that she was coming for her handcuffs. I was like, yo, what's happening? So I literally thought I was doing I did something bad. And then another immigration officer, a man this time around from the back, showed me act like a man. I'm like, oh shit, it's money. And I didn't know anything about how valuable their notes were. So I just looked through because I didn't know how much was not insulting as a bribe to give to the immigration officer. I just looked at the biggest note and I gave to her. I said, oh, thank you. So when I got into the hotel, I went on the internet and checked how much I'd given. I was like, a huge ridiculous amount of money. I was like, no way. I wish I was really like you, man.
No, I mean, those are things you begin, because at that point I knew I was in the right situation. I had already gone all through the security checks and everything. It
was my first travel too, so
yeah. So at that point, as you travel more, you actually begin to know.
You learn from the experiences, yeah.
Because when we got into the plane and we were literally naked, people started staring at us. And like I said, it was a big plane. It was an A380. It was filled to the brim. We were supposed to connect in DXB and change into a different plane. So we got in and they were like, no, they shouldn't do that to you. I said, we are Nigerians, like Sarah said. We have just a very different level of resistance, and we just happen to make ways even when there are no ways.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, can you share some of your traveling tips and hacks, maybe concerning how buying the tickets, or how to pack, or what to do before traveling? Can you share some of it for us, Obinna?
I was going to leave that to Sarah because she's the professional budgeting my trip person.
But for the ticket part, I mean, it remains the same. Just focus on the low seasons first of all, because everyone always keeps saying summer this, summer that. But in all honesty, it's not so cheap to travel during the high season. So if you're someone that wants to explore, like choosing your time and season is very critical. You know, for example, I'm in Portugal, like we are taking the almost best type of hotels for giveaway prizes because this is December. People are at home with their families. You know that is the least time you would see a place crowded because it's Christmas. So you can get good deals when you focus on the right time and the right season. So that's for making reservations and booking time and season. And then also the platforms that you make your bookings on, you know, most times these third-party apps, they could look good, but they might not be as good as the same. So you can see the ticket for really cheap. And then when it's time to pay, you start seeing some other additional things that they didn't show you. So having access to the right platforms, you know, from comparisons, I know that things like Skyscanner could be very useful because you can open up the map when you're using Skyscanner. So you see a map of, let's say, countries that are close to each other. So you can decide on, let's say the closest country is to Portugal. So when you have an opportunity to go to one country, try to make it a multi-city trip and it'll be cheaper for you. So using those kind of platforms that give you options like that could be useful. Also, there is a platform called Omio where it gives you a breakdown of the prices if you're going to go by car or if you're using a train or a bus and all that. And lastly, for the booking, most times the more you search for a trip, the more expensive it becomes because of the whole cache and cookie stuff. So using a private browser could be another hack, you know, and booking on the right days of the week. When you're booking on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, this is when people are at home. They have time to also plan their travels. So you could book like between Tuesdays to Thursdays and you would have reasonable prices. So yeah.
Hard.
And she has more. She has more on her website. So
obviously, I have a breakdown of all this on the segment that's called travel resources on my website. So you can see, like, I segmented them into different areas. So if it's fast food, accommodation, or flights and all that, I broke everything down on my website. Then for packing, I mean, it's simple. Go with the right items. Sometimes you don't need heaven and earth to go on a vacation. You could buy things cheaper where you're going to. You could use a packing cube. It makes packing really simple. And when you're traveling, let's say with your suitcase, these days the airlines cannot be trusted. They mess up your suitcase, they break the wheels and all that. So one hack that I use is to mark my suitcase as fragile. So I just tell them, you know, there's something fragile in this, and then they put the fragile sign. So that means your suitcase will be the last to get on the plane. And when you arrive at your destination, it will be the first to come up. So you save time. Yeah, you save time and your box remains intact. So that's a good hack that works for me when it comes to packing.
Mm-hmm.
What other hack?
Okay, tell me. Go on.
I'm thinking because I only have 1 more minute on this call. I have another meeting to jump onto. But like I said, I put maybe up to 50 or 60 travel tips on my website. You know, you can just
Sarah, since you have a minute, can you quickly just tell us about your business, your website, and how to get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can add it to the link, but it's budgetingmytrip.com on all platforms. So that's the website, budgetingmytrip.com. I also have like a travel essential shop. So all these things I mentioned, like the essential things you need to travel. So each time I travel, I try to figure out what am I missing on this trip, then it made me like bring up this idea of having an essential shop. So for the average traveler that doesn't know what to travel with, this shop kind of gives you access to everything you need to buy for your vacation. And on Instagram, I'm also budgeting my trip. So that's where you can find me. Yeah, budgeting my trip, exactly.
One last quick question before you run away. What would you say? I mean, from your over 45 countries you've traveled to, tell me your best country. I mean, don't say Nigeria. Come on.
Oh my God! Even you, if I tell you Nigeria, wouldn't you be surprised? The best one, I think I'll go for Mexico. I think, yeah. Because it was a different connection I felt. I felt at home. I felt connected. It's so beautiful also. Before I went, I had no expectations because people said, drugs, insecurity. But then I didn't see any of that. What I felt was mostly like the love and the, welcoming people, good food, cheap alcohol, plenty enjoyment. But it was a very memorable one, which I intend to do again soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sarah. I guess you're leaving soon, and
yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry that I have to go, but because I have to jump on another call. Thank you very much. Have a great New Year ahead. Bye bye.
You too.
Bye bye, Sarah.
Merry Christmas. Bye bye.
Same to you.
Bye. Ciao.
So Obinna, can you tell us about traveling through the pandemic? You have traveled a bit during the pandemic. How was your experience like?
I actually do not recommend that anybody travels during the pandemic. That's the 101. I would say we've seen that as much as everybody wants very specific things from government, nobody really knows how to deal with the pandemic because, of course, nobody had been in this kind of situation. So traveling during the pandemic is very different. Every country has different laws and these things are changing. Most of the things I might even share with you would not be relevant maybe in the next few hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have only made one trip during the pandemic. I have canceled 3, right? Because of either border closure or just additional requirements that are needed to go into certain places. So far, I only had a chance to go to Germany. I choose not to go by flights because, if you're traveling through an airport, then there are additional things and there's also more lights on you. So you get to experience more scrutiny. So what I did was I traveled by train. So first I had to cross the border into Austria. And then from Vienna, I traveled by train to Munich. I will say, yeah, they will still, some people are lucky they don't get, stopped and are being questioned about their status. But yeah, it's easier for you to travel by rail right now than it is for you to travel by taking flights. That's just what I would say. But other than that, I think you can still move around, but the regulations are kind of changing. Like I've said, sometimes you will be required to provide a COVID test that's less than 72 hours. And then in some other situations, they might actually let you in, but you will have to stay in quarantine for 10 to 14 days, depending on the country that you've crossed from and where you're actually going. So yeah, there's still movement, but it's that little convenience that you have to put into consideration.
I mean, with the travel in the pandemic, I did a trip myself. The first wave, not the second wave, no. But then the first wave I did, I was a Czech, Germany, Holland trip. And I mean, it was just like any other travel. I don't know if by the time they weren't taking it that serious, but all we had to do, I think it was I think in Germany, you had to have like a nose mask before you got into like a shop. But in Holland, they didn't care. The only time I had to put on like a nose mask was when I was in the bus. We used the bus like for the round trip. And that was the only thing. But apart from that, everyone was outside. Restaurants were open. Everything was open. I didn't go to clubbing, so I know the clubs were open. But then everything else was open. Like people were having living their normal lives and everything. So, and I think in Europe it's quite okay. travel around.
Why would you even want to go?
taste
Why
notes.
would you even want to go clubbing at this
In the
point,
parliament.
Anthony?
I didn't. I
the
didn't want to
club
go
master.
clubbing, but then I like missing like clubs were closed.
And
Yeah, I
I mean, I
mean
didn't
it's interesting. Like I would say again, the best for me, the advice that I would give is, we all should be in support of whatever government we have in place. It's better that we all contribute and get rid of the situation once and for all. So I have intentionally
the
put most of my
vaccine, so
trips on
hopefully-
hold because I don't want that to keep putting my business on the ground. So let's do whatever it takes, whatever is required of us, and get over it once and for all.
Hopefully the vaccine kicks in fast, and then we can start living a normal life again.
I mean, yeah, the Czech Republic has received, I think, 9,250 doses of the Pfizer vaccine as at this morning. Yeah, I am aware that they've shipped a few doses to the Nemonice. Pardon my Czech. Yeah, and Saint Anne, the Nemonice, which of course it's the hospital. So from today, which is Sunday, they probably will start the administration. But we've been told they will have to start with the health workers and specific age brackets and depending on the level of severity. So we are looking at that, but it's still going to take some time. It's not going to happen like with a switch because there are two dosages that are needed.
I will take a shot if you have the opportunity.
I will be the first person to take a shot if
really?
I have a chance.
I'll be the last person. Bro, I survived it already. I survived it already. So I'm gonna admit to you, like I'll be probably the last person to take a shot. Make sure that no one is getting some adverse reactions and before I'm moving in and not happen. So I'll wait for everyone to get a shot, and if everyone is still alive, if everyone is still alive after taking the shot, then of course I'll go get one. So then, I'm not taking any COVID.
You're consuming very biased media, but I mean it's rational for you to think like that. I would say at some point you have to be. Yeah, I definitely get your point, but at some point it's no longer just about you, and that's where I like to look at the whole thing, right? I could be smart enough, I could find my way, I could stay away from certain kind of things, but what about the other people that I'm going out to meet? I don't want to be the guy who continually exposes other people to situations that are totally avoidable. So if it means me taking that 2 shots, which I understand it's between 20 days in between, so those 2 dosage, if it means me taking that and being able to hug the people I love again or travel, I will definitely go for it.
I was reading somewhere that at a point you would need like a COVID certificate. As a coming for travel.
Actually, there's been different views to that. Even the Chinese Prime Minister at some point was suggesting that we have QR codes, like stamped on our body, like tattoos or stuff like that. But there are really crazy ideas coming up with the whole thing, and biblically, people are beginning to make like draw the line of similarity between the mark of the beast and stuff like that, the whole 666 theory. But I would say if that's what is necessary, I wouldn't want to put like a mark of the beast on myself or put QR codes. But if it's just for me to take that vaccine and have a card, which is not totally different from what we've had. We that are coming from West Africa, we know what it feels like to travel with the yellow fever card. I've had to travel with my yellow fever card for years because it's a one shot for 10 years, right? So every time I move around, in some countries, they still ask me, like, show us that you do not have yellow fever. It's the same thing with tuberculosis. If you're traveling to the UK from certain countries, you still need to take the tuberculosis tests and provide the results. So I don't see that being very different with COVID.
And tell us about your business, Lucia.
Sluxia.com. Big man.
So Sluxia actually started like a pet project. It's not very different from what Sarah does. The only difference I would say is that Sarah kind of works with She's more concerned with individual travelers, which was also where I started. But these days, I like to focus on group travels. So I work with schools, I work with organizations, I help them organize group trips, like excursions. And for businesses, we do like incentive travels where the companies are trying to kind of reward their staff. So we help them prepare what looks like a vacation, but it's more still with the business feel. So sometimes they are reward trips. Other times they are just like cool off from the office. So they go somewhere amazing, and we kind of, me and my team do all the local runarounds because we have the network, we have the connection. We get the hotels at the best rates. We get the local activities at the best rate. That's why I travel this. We also do that with schools. I think I already mentioned that. The last trip we had before the whole COVID breakdown was with a group of students from Instituto de Monterrey. They came in from Mexico, so I had to move them around Europe. We went to Vienna, and most of the expositions were done in Germany. We went to the Volkswagen plants in Wolfsburg. We went to Hamburg. We went to Munich. We went to Airbus. We went to MAN, that is the truck manufacturing company. So I kind of move around with the students. I take care of making sure they get the best hotels, the best means of transport, and things like that. A few times I get to do wedding arrangements, maybe like honeymoon packages or stuff like that. It's kind of fun, but when you're doing things with the whole marriage and the whole personal trips, it gets a bit too emotional, and people want this more, that more, which is not my very strong forte. But I still give it a shot one or two times. I like to be part of people's amazing stories.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do these days.
So basically, just based in Europe, right? To do trips in Europe for now.
No, I actually that's the good thing, right? So with each experience or every travel that I go to, travel trip that I go to, most times I tend to meet with other people that do the same kind of business that I do, but they're coming from different continents, right? So that kind of extends my network. So it's not just Europe. I do Asia, I do South America, I still do Africa. I run the Mice Connect Africa, which was also an event I designed to bring people like me that kind of did the same business, but they were based in Africa. So right now, if you want anything in Africa, I have one or two persons I can, get on the phone with, and I'm going to give you the same experience. The same thing with Russia. Let me just say this very quick story before we get to the next one. So I was in Slovenia for Convene. I think it was Conventa or Convene, but one of those two business event conferences. And I met someone who was like, he had access to everything you wanted in Russia, like anywhere you want to go in Russia, right? And before I met him, I had someone who had called and said that we want a specific ship in Russia, like the Belarus stuff. And I told him, man, I'm sorry, I didn't have the contacts, right? But from that dinner we had, I had access to the guy that can even get you access to see Putin if you want it, right? So that's the core of the business. As we move around, we connect more, we kind of grow from there. So that's our strength. So it's not just Europe. Just to go back to Anthony's question, if anybody wants anywhere in the world, I probably know a guy.
So he's the Connect.
So we have the link,
Mr. Connect,
in the description. So
yeah.
Our listeners, our viewers, if you want to hop on his, you can quickly just click on it, and then
you can always.
And then I'm sure we can have the contact for that too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
got Anthony, I didn't get your question.
I'm saying we could also put your contacts and everything on in the description too, right?
Yeah, my website is slogzia.com. It's spelled S as in Sam, L as in love, U as in union, X as in X-ray, I as in India, A as in Apple, then .com.
Dot as in what?
Dot as in dot.
Yeah.
So cool. Thank you very much.
So,
finally, we want to test your geography knowledge.
Okay.
We're gonna test.
Now I'm on the red seat.
Now you're on the red seat. We're gonna ask you 5 questions. I'm gonna be the game coordinator. It's you against Anthony. So I'm gonna ask you 5.
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
Bro. We didn't plan this.
I'm gonna ask you guys 5.
Man,
5
I'm losing already.
5 questions each, and let's see how well you know the countries of the world since you guys travel a lot.
Bro. Okay.
To first question.
Man, I hope. Wait. But I hope everyone is rooting for the underdog, though. I hope everyone watches for me.
Let's make it 3 so that it can be short. 3. So
all right.
I'm gonna ask
you could ask questions that Anthony know better, but what's the price? Let's make it more. Let's incentivize it.
Oh, the winner gets dinner.
Dinner. Okay. So some food vouchers.
So yeah, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. I'm gonna ask you questions. I'm gonna give you countries. You're gonna tell me their capitals, and it's gonna be 3. And the winner, the person who gets the most answers right, is the winner. You have 10 seconds to answer the question. Okay. So,
no Googling.
No Googling.
You can't Google.
I'm watching you. So everybody has to even give me their 2 hands in the air, you know.
It should be like maybe 1 Africa, 1 Europe, 1 America, something.
Don't worry.
Like 1 Asia.
Don't worry. I'm gonna give it to you. So now, what is the capital? Anthony. What is the capital?
Wait, do like a speed test. A speed test, right?
No. Don't worry. No, that doesn't matter. It's 10 seconds. I'm timing, so you get it. Right?
Whatever. Let's go. It's fine.
So, what is the
It's fine, let's go.
What is the capital of Finland?
What?
Finland.
Of where?
Finland.
That's Helsinki, right?
Correct.
Helsinki?
Yes.
Alright.
Correct. Okay, Obinna. What is the capital of Jamaica?
Do I know? Maybe Kingston, because that's the most popular one.
Correct. Okay. Second question, Anthony. What is the capital of
Tell me.
What is the capital of Liberia?
Oh, I should know this. Oh, bro.
10 seconds over.
Well, I'm blank. I know Liberia.
Can you help him?
Monrovia.
Perfect. So 2-1 to Obinna.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, so Obinna, your question. What is the capital of Niger?
Niger.
No.
Niger, right?
Niger, yes.
Yeah,
Niger, the country, yes.
Yeah. Niger, yeah.
Yes.
Niamey.
Correct. So 3-1 to Obinna.
Bro.
So last one.
I was hoping you didn't get that because I knew that.
They are my neighbors, man.
Okay. Last one. Anthony, what is the capital of China?
China?
Yeah.
Beijing.
Correct. That's
Okay, that's an easy one.
That's 3-2 to Anthony.
He needs one more question.
No, he answered your bonus question, so he gets your point.
Yeah, exactly. So then that was my question. So you have to ask him one more question. And if he can't answer, I might get the bonus.
Okay, yes. Yeah, but
listen,
now
like,
it's 3-2.
You started with me, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he will if he fails the wrong question, his question, you will come to you. So
exactly.
Chill.
Yeah.
What is the capital of Obinna? What is the capital of Mongolia?
Mongolia.
Yeah, you started. It's like you're answering it. The "woo" is similar to the answer.
How many? Ulaanbaatar or something.
You are close.
Ulaanbaatar.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Lambata. Yes.
1 out of 3. 1 out of 3.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good.
Man, it's Obinna. It's Obinna. It's not fair. It's not a fair fight.
4-2. The winner is Obinna. Applause to him, man. So we have come to the end of this wonderful podcast.
Okay,
it was
Prince.
a pleasure.
Prince.
Yes.
Prince. What is the capital of Lesotho?
The capital of Lesotho. Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
Capital of Lesotho. Capital of Lesotho.
Stop
Do you
googling,
need
bro.
help?
I think it's Maseru or Maseru. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Maseru.
What's the capital of Libya? Libya.
Tripoli, come on.
Tripoli,
That was
Oh.
easy.
Tripoli.
It wasn't for you, bro.
Tripoli. Guys, we have come to the end. We have
My
come,
people are going to kill me for not getting Liberia.
we have come to
All
the
right,
end,
guys.
man.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Mhm.
It was a nice convo.
Yeah, it was
So
nice.
thank you guys for coming here. Thanks to Sarah. We love you. Thank you, Obi. Merry Christmas. And hopefully 2021 will be a very good year for us. I know your business has taken a toll because of the COVID thing, but hopefully 2021 you can get back, and make some more money. So this was the 4th edition of the ChopitUp podcast. As you said in the podcast, in the description would be for budgeting my trip and stasia.com, so you can follow them for all your travel needs. Trust me, these two people know their stuff, so you can just contact them for all your travel needs. Yeah. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hope you stay safe and have safe fun, if there's anything like that.
Until next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. Thanks.
What?
Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome.
Most there anytime, bro. Hop on again when there's more stuff to talk about, when COVID is out and we can travel more.
Yeah.
I'm always available. I would like to talk about travel, every other thing. The only thing you guys talk about that I know almost nothing about is sports.
Sports side.
But every other thing I'm willing to jump in
Alright.
and have that conversation.
Sure.
Bro.
It's okay. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.